Hi, I'm ChrisLody and welcome to the studio. I've been really enjoying playing around with the Volca Modular since it came out in about 2019. It's a really useful synth, especially for things like experimental sound design, but one thing it's really missing is a noise source. It does technically have a noise source out of the woggle, but this is never really meant to be audible, so it sounds a bit nasty. Luckily though, we can add an external noise source through the inputs, so that's what we'll be looking at today. Lots of synths add noise sources that are great for things like percussive sounds or just for adding a bit of grit. So I'll be giving a few examples as we go along. We could of course talk about adding noise in from something like a semi-modular or a Eurorack, but just for accessibility I'll be showing mostly portable, easy to find devices that you might not have even thought of as noise sources. So let's get started. So, here on the bench I've got the Volca Modular set up. I've got this little tune programmed into it just to demonstrate the noise capabilities. As you can hear, that's quite a pure sort of sine wave kind of tone. And you also notice I've got this old phone here. This is our first option. This is an iPhone 5S, which is old enough to have a headphone socket in. We need something with a physical connection. If your mobile phone is too new, obviously this won't work. So this app I've got loaded in, it's called White Noise Lite. It's actually designed for relaxation. So the sounds in this list here, there's things like waterfalls and jungles and that sort of thing, but down at the bottom you've got white noise and a few other types of noise that are going to be quite useful for us. So if we take our 3.5mm cable that comes with the Volca, plug the output of the phone into the CV input is where we're going, and play that. To start with, we won't hear anything because we've got to make a few connections. If we take the top connection here and run it into B on the utility module, we can boost the volume. That's because the CV input of the Volca Modular is designed to take much louder signals than we're presenting it with, but we can use the utility to boost it a bit. Having said that, the mobile phone output is going to be quieter than the other two options we've got available, so it will be a little bit ineffective to start with, but I'll show you some other things we can do. If we take the output from A plus B and go into the left-hand side of the second low-pass gate, can then trigger the second function generator like that, and then run the plus connection into the middle connection on the second low-pass gate. There's our noise. So it's a little bit quiet. We can still make some percussive sounds with it. But another option is to take the output from the utility module and go straight into the fold connection on the main oscillator, which is this one. That's a good way of roughing up the sound. We can change the noise type on the phone to get some different flavours of noise for different types of modulation, like for example if we were to go brown noise is going to give much more of a rough sound. And the other two are maybe a bit less effective. So let's move on to our other choices. So these two are basically the same idea, and that is that we use a detuned radio to produce our white noise. Now, I started off using this, which is a little portable wind-up radio, and then I ended up preferring to use this, which is a little portable cassette player, because this is an EQ on the front, and that enables us to get different types of noise. So, for those of you who don't know, if you turn on an FM radio and tune to the end of the dial, away from where the music and stations are, you just get white noise. So that's what we can use as our signal. But I'll switch to using this because I prefer it. So we'll take the headphone output from the radio on this. Not all portable tape players have radios, but some of them do. So if you're looking for one with a switch on the side that changes stations. So this time if we come straight out of the utility module and then to the left, low pass gate, you can hear our radio directly. And then as we tune across the station, that that noise is going to change. Again, if we run this back into the fold and find something with a voice, we can get some really interesting effects. So that's something else you can do with the radio that's quite interesting. Going back to noise, if we switch EQs, for example, we can get some raspy kind of noise sounds. Now the last choice is a synth in its own right, and that is the Nts1. Quite a lot of Volca owners have bought these because we can use them as effects units as well as a sound source. The oscillators on offer don't actually have noise as a default, although it can take custom oscillators. There is a way to make a noisy output using a few tweaks of the knobs. So if we monitor this directly for a minute, if we select VPM, turn these two up to about halfway each, and then we're going to hold oscillator and turn this one down to P100. So we're getting that, and then this one all the way up the top. We're really getting something quite noisy. Then if we add some reverb on top of this, riser's particularly good. It's going to add in harmonics. Turn our time and our mix all the way up. And then we get something really noisy. Alternatively, the submarine reverb is quite good. This will add in undertones to give us a darker sound. And then of course we can use the filter to shape our noise even further. Obviously we don't want to be holding the button down constantly, so there's a solution to that. If we go into EG and scroll all the way over to open, it's just going to keep going constantly. So I'll plug this in and I'll give you a demo of what it can do. So that about covers it for this tutorial. Hopefully you can pick out some useful information from my mumbling along. Please leave a comment below and like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this. Thanks very much for watching.